news.
Whoa. We have a mysterious package from our friends at LITNXT. That's right, LITNXT, your quality dropshipper. I don't know if that's their slogan, but it should be. Just give me a call. Send me an email. Shoot me a DM on the Discord. We'll talk about your marketing. Anyway, LITNXT sent me a mysterious package. Now, I'm assuming it's a handheld. It's, this is the TrimUI Smart Pro. Ooh, let's see. Comes with a case, screen protector, cord, any normal stuff. I'll put the screen protector on later. Let's see here. Let's take this screen protector off. Oh, there's a little tab there. Keep me from scratching the screen. Ew. How do you like that? Well, that's beautiful. This is obviously modeled after the PS Vita. You have a nice D-pad. You know what? That doesn't feel too bad. This is very pocketable. Even the shoulder buttons, they don't jut out that much. This is very slim, right? Pocketable. These are Vita sticks, which means they don't click, which is kind of a bummer because I always use L3 as my hotkey button for RetroArch and all that jazz. So I won't be able to do that. So I guess I'll use Select maybe. Did I scratch the plastic? Uh-oh. Don't worry me. You have a menu button down here. The menu button, the middle of the D-pad, and this LED here are all Predator lights, which is neat. You have your select, your start. On top you have the power, you have your USB-C, and you have your volume. You have your L and R buttons, L2 and R2. Those are real small. I'm going to tell you right now, that's very small. That's going to be hard to hit in the heat of combat. I guess time will see. On the bottom here, you have another USB-C port, headphone jack on the bottom. Love that. You have your SD card down here. You have this this switch, and what this does, it toggles on a low power mode. I think it throttles the CPU down to 800 megahertz. What that means is you get a lot more battery life when you're playing some of your lesser systems like NES, Game Boy, stuff that's not going to draw a ton of power. You just throttle the CPU back, and that helps you out. And then this mystery port, no one has quite figured out what it is. Some people said maybe it was HDMI. Some people said maybe it was a SIM card. I'm not taking it apart, at least not in this video. LITNXT would be mad if I broke it before I got the video done. TrimUI. So this is a stock experience. I know that the Jello's team has said they're working on something for this. I think Mini UI has something. For this video at least, we're just going to focus on out of the box. Now, if you want me to do a follow-up on your favorite custom firmware, just let me know in the comments. It doesn't always have to be Zoo, I don't like you, Zoo, you smell, Zoo, why are you even doing YouTube? You could say nice things too. So, let's see here. Ew, I don't like that. You hear that? Ugh. Let's turn that off. Okay, settings. Volume. Is that volume for everything or just for that noise? Well, let's take it down to 1 and we'll see what happens when we play games. I connected to the Wi-Fi, that's good. You can use this as a hotspot. Some people think this is supposed to be a SIM card because there's this hotspot function. It's very Android-y, but this is not a touch screen. So like I find myself going, oh, I want to press this, but I can't. It's not a touch screen. Which also means DS games on here might be not great. You can mess with your brightness. You can turn your LEDs on and off. You can enhance their brightness. Let's go down with just, I don't know, 3. It looks like these change color. It's like context sensitive in the menu. That's kind of neat. It has Wi-Fi, so you'd think you'd be able to do an over-the-air update to the software, but that doesn't seem to be the case. You have NetPlay on here. You can refresh your ROMs. You can change your language to Chinese or English. That's a lot of options. Factory reset when you do a hardware test. What's that? Oh, all my buttons work. You can calibrate the joysticks. I can flash mode. I don't know what... Let's not. I guess that's for updating. But it's pretty bare bones right out of the box. So you have this favorites. And mine came with Pokemon and FC Multis. You have your games. You press start, you can rearrange them. It's very bare bones. This TrimUI interface, very minimalistic. Now you see, I just opened this up and there's all these systems here, but there's no games. So you might think, oh, there's no Atari games. But if I hit A and go in there, it scans the games. It's like the firmware is just not all the way set up. So we're going to refresh our ROMs. Will that help? No. Game Boy and Game Boy Color are sideways. I don't know what that's about. Before I start the full review, I want to give you some basic specs. This thing comes in at about $80. I think it's like 79 whatever. Maybe you can get it with a coupon. Maybe LITNXT has a as a promo deal. $3 off orders over 50. I don't know what their deals are at any given time, but about 80 bucks. We have a 5-inch IPS screen. I think technically it's 4.963241 whatever inches, but we'll say it's 5-inch screen. 720p resolution. Now this is powered by an AllWinner A133P chip. Now Gary tells me that's somewhere between a 3326, which is what you would get from, say, your 351 line from Anbernic, and then it's not as powerful as a 3566 chip, which is what powers the 353 line from Anbernic, or the Powkiddy X55, or a variety of other handhelds. So it's somewhere in between the 3326 and the 3566, which means we should get better performance than the 351. So that would mean pretty rock solid N64, maybe some PSP, some Dreamcast, but I wouldn't hold your breath on the whole catalog just because of where this chip is. You know what? Let's just start off with some Nintendo. Oh, there's RPG Chinese. We're not going to do that. Let's get that volume up. Whoa, boy, that gets loud. And it comes with bezels. You can turn that off. When you're in game, if you press the menu button, it takes you to this little baby menu, which lets you save or load save states. You can do some net play, or you could exit the game. Now, advanced menu, it just takes you straight in to the full RetroArch menu, which means you can get rid of those bezels. You can set up retro achievements because, aha, this does have Wi-Fi. Huh? How about that? You can do retro achievements in addition to your net play. You can do all your RetroArch tinkering from here. But if you don't want to do that, you still just have your little basic menu that'll let you save and load, and that's it. Tell you what, the screen's pretty good. It's not the best screen I've ever seen, but it's pretty good. And the speakers, there's like two little, I guess these are speaker holes. Now there's some controversy because if you take this apart, the speaker's back here, but it resonates within this chamber and it comes out of these holes. The sound quality's good. You can fight over the specifics, but the sound quality's good. Eat turnip. I missed. Crap. Eat a little turnip. I could have seen that one coming. So yeah, NES is good. Try some Game Boy Color. Ooh, I like that bezel. Although it's not scaled right. The text of the game is over top of the bezel. It's not ideal. Fast forward's automatically mapped. That's pretty good. But I gotta tell you, these L2 and R2 buttons, ugh, I don't like them at all. I really don't like them. Well, let's try Super Famicom. This has SNES bezel on it too. That's pretty cool. Now, all the games start at 0 volume. I don't know if that's because I turned the volume down, but I mean, that might be. I just wish there was a way to get rid of that annoying beep, beep, beep. You got these nice blue RGB. You have this nice Sega Genesis bezel. Oh, that poor dog. Oh, Shinobi died. Alright, let's try some Game Boy Advance. I think Game Boy Advance is going to look pretty good on here because of the screen. It's ideally suited for a wide Game Boy Advance style game. Game Boy Advance bezel is very minimal. You can always turn that off if you want. But you're using a tremendous amount of the screen here. You guys want to be Walter or Tyra? Oh, Walter. Ah. Uh-oh. So Game Boy Advance on here is pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it. Let's try some PlayStation. Not a lot of PlayStation comes on here, but, ooh. Let's keep up the Mega Man theme. Green RGB now. I have achievements loaded. Who should I be? Oh, regular Mega Man. Analog stick isn't set up automatically, which is kind of a bummer. You'd probably go in there and do it through the RetroArch, but I don't know. I feel like I thought it was going to be set up. Oh, well. Alright. Gotta dodge these green balls. Oh, crap. Mario Kart 64. We're gonna get bezels. So I don't like that the C. I don't like that the C buttons are mapped to the right thumbstick because I have to take my finger off the throttle to use the items, which is kind of inconvenient. But I guess I understand why they did it. There's nowhere else you're gonna put it, you know. Stay off the sand, Zoo. Steady. I think you got it. I think you got it. Oh, yeah. Let's try one more N64 game to make sure it works okay. Oh, yeah. That's super smooth. Oh, well. Yeah, N64 runs pretty good on here. All right, let's try some Dreamcast. Here's where I anticipate this guy's starting to have some trouble. So we got Crazy Taxi. There's always a pretty good benchmark game. All right, so I turned the FPS counter on for the first time just to make sure it's actually smooth. And it's not just my brain, so let's see. Whoa, rumble. Yeah, so you got to use this trigger. Ugh. The trigger on here is not, it's not great. I feel like R2 and L2 are definitely weak points here. Boy, this rumble is just annoying. It's like something slightly pulsing and thrashing inside the handheld. It's just like lightly pulsing. Not a fan. But I mean, Dreamcast games are playing. That's something to be said. Let's try another one. Let's see if Sonic chugs down that first hill. Okay. It's not great. We're hitting about 40 FPS. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not smooth. It's also in Japanese, which isn't ideal. I don't speak Japanese. Whee! So I would say if you're gonna buy this, I wouldn't even bother getting the one with the SD card included because the ROM set's not great. Might as well get the one without the SD card and put your own ROMs on there because you can probably do a better job. Wow. Yeah, Dreamcast not ideal, but not as bad as I thought it would be. Let's finish out with some PPSSPP emulator. The menu button on here is mapped to PPSSP, so you can go in here and get your settings right away. No, you can't because it's not touchscreen, Zoo. Running at 2x resolution with OpenGL. I can't put Vulkan on there, just stuck with OpenGL. Frame skip's turned on, but you can go in here and you can change your settings if you want. I'll tell you what though, it's getting warm back here. Not uncomfortably warm, but noticeably warm. Ugh, it's not smooth. It's saying 40, but I don't know. You can hear the sound start to desync a little bit. It's just, yeah. Doesn't feel great. It's a shame though, because this is pretty well suited with this wide screen for PSP games. Now that being said, you want to play a slower paced game or a JRPG or something like Final Fantasy Tactics, you should be okay. So a game like this will play okay, but some of the spell effects start to chug a little bit. Yeah, see there's those spell effects. Drop the FPS down to 16. Well, I guess we're getting to that time, Gary. What did we learn? We learned that the TrimUI Smart Pro is a $80-ish handheld you can get from our friends at LITNXT. Thanks again, LITNXT. We will work on your slogan that you don't have to my knowledge. The TrimUI out of the box, the interface is not great, although it might be well suited for someone newer to the scene because there's not a lot of text to go through, it's just pictures. I want to play Atari, I click on Atari and here's my Atari games. That's pretty simple for someone who's new. But if you are getting this to add to your existing collection, user interface might not be great. Now, if you want to see it, let me know in the comments. I can try to install other custom firmware on here and see how it plays and see how it looks. But right now, we're just using the stock, and it's okay. It's functional. And that's a lot more than you can say for some of these handhelds. You have your 5-inch IPS screen, that's a 720p screen, but there's not a lot of games you can actually play at 720p resolution because the chip on this doesn't have enough oomph. The ergonomics of it are really good. I would say the rounded edges, the general size, and the placement of the buttons are great, except the L2 and R2. They're like difficult to press, especially if you have your fingers on these regular trigger buttons and you slide down. Like if I'm pressing the R button and I want to go down, it's not clicking. You have to like legitimately push. You can't just tap. It's a like a pull it away from the shell. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And then these Vita sticks. I get that they're low profile. Slide it right in your pocket, but they don't click. And I've gotten to the point now where I use L3 as my dedicated hotkey button. I could get used to it, but I don't know that I would like having to mash select and then press my buttons. That might just be a personal preference to me. All that being said, it is a pretty decent budget handheld at around 80 bucks, but there are a couple other handhelds out there that I think maybe for a little bit more money, you'd get a lot more. So like in a shootout between this and the X55, I'd go with the X55 because you have that more powerful chip and that'll allow you to play some of those widescreen PSP games at a higher resolution or at least at 60 FPS. So I don't know. Outside of these trigger buttons back here and these sticks, I like the ergonomics. It's a pretty neat little handheld. It gets the job done. I guess where we're at the end of 2023 in this particular price range, it's harder for me to wholeheartedly say, yeah, go out and buy this. It's a good handheld. It's got a good feel to it. It's unique. It looks like a Vita, which is kind of cool. Even has a little lanyard mount. I don't know that I would trust a lanyard on there, but it's a good handheld. I just think it doesn't do enough to stand out in the market. So that's my review. Pretty good, but not the best one I've seen in this budget range. So if you like the video, if you like our crazy antics, subscribe, ring that bell for more classic zoo zaniness. And all of us here at the Retro Handhelds team telling you to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your handhelds. Get a nice little microfiber cloth to keep their screens nice and fresh.